Hello everyone, I am Jordan Granath. Apologies in advance if I sound a little hoarse. I'm currently fighting off a little sickness and I'm kind of got a sore throat going on. But today we will be talking about accounting softwares for small, medium, and large businesses. In particular, we will be talking about the actual options available to these businesses when looking at accounting softwares, and then talking briefly about customer relationship management and security and cryptography. This is a large amount of slides and it was done over multiple videos on the actual Canvas site, so it is a lot to talk about, so we will only be looking at a small snapshot of everything, but as many of you have taken the contemporary accounting course, some of this may be familiar. So looking at this very high level, we can break down accounting softwares into small businesses, medium businesses, and large businesses. Basically, with small businesses, you're looking for options that have a very cheap way to acquire them and use them. They have ease of use, they're very functional, and they're very easy to compare. When most people think of entry-level accounting software, you think of QuickBooks or maybe Sage 50. There's also Account Edge Pro, and there's other ones for smaller businesses that may be done on mobile site or that are like free accountability softwares that let you operate for only a couple bucks a month. Mostly these are just to generate your actual journal entries and propose reports, not really done for like big operations, but just when you want to get the accounting done for your business. Looking at a medium-sized business, however, you're going to look into ERP systems, these enterprise resource planning systems that let you take care of purchasing and sales and payments and other functional areas of the business rather than have them siloed, integrated together into one database where anyone can come in and access the same data as someone else that's useful to leverage across the firm. Basically, these are often either implemented and housed in-house or done through a cloud or a web-based vendor. When you think about these, you want to think about providers like SAP, Oracle, Sage 100, Microsoft Infor, and typically the ones for medium-sized businesses are NetSuite, Microsoft Dynamics, and Sage 100. But going onwards to a bigger company, looking at the top of the three tiers of ERP systems, we are looking at things like SAP and Oracle primarily for these high-performing global operations. The tiers themselves are looking at client applications, which are just small things done for a small business, the actual application servers that a medium business may dabble in, and then actual data sources that are provided to these larger businesses that have a lot more going on. They want a very service-based oriented architecture, and as such, these come with many benefits as allowing for customer relationship management, sales, planning, other operations, though they do run the risk of being very costly and also having a difficulty to implement. A large amount of businesses go over on budget or even fail to properly implement ERP when they first do it because of transferring the actual data into it and making sure that everything works and talks to each other properly, so it can be a bit of a costly process. Going onward, talking about actual customer relationship management in itself, these are the systems and practices used to establish, refine, and further relationships with your customers based on their needs and preferences. Think of it as tailored marketing, operations, analytics, collaborations, sales, and geographical info that you can do with your customers, and it will also help you let you find ways to sell things to them better, to provide services, decrease on your costs, or maybe even get rid of operations that are being less than fruitful. These can be done either business to business by making sure you have routine payments set up and routine plans, so there's a lot less obscurity when you're dealing with your actual buyers, or this can be done to a business to customer, offering very personalized operations to get to someone and make them repeat lifelong customers. These often can be done through an ERP system, though they are known to be done through standalone databases, but they do run the problem of basically having to deal with a lot of big data and having the difficulty of usability, and it essentially comes down to a database if you don't know how to use and implement it properly. And then lastly, security and cryptography is basically the act of making sure that your systems are actually secure and safe from everything. There's been a lot of data leaks happening over the last few years. With in 2012, there being reports that 80% of businesses have had some kind of hack on their websites, and that these often take upwards of several hundred days to fix. In fact, Sage was hit by a data leak briefly, which I talked about in my article posted up above. And from these, you just want to make sure that you know about the attacks that can be done, which are brute force, bots, email attacks, phishing on your employees, horses, viruses, typical hacking. And from these, you want to make sure you have the proper security in place, the proper policies and training, segregation of duties, that everyone knows how to avoid these problems and counter them. And lastly, there's cryptography, which is the actual process of securing data, confidentiality, with integrity and proper authentication. Basically, making sure that your passwords are secure and not recycled, and making sure that everything is encrypted with private keys or asymmetric keys that let you keep all of your data confidential to those that don't have the proper keys to read this. If you have any questions about all of this, just let me know. I know it's a lot to cover in just 5 minutes, so I hope I did an adequate job of doing so. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and thank you once again.